What's good, fellow outcasts and rejects? It's General Red here, and welcome to WTC, the Anime Outcasts. First off, I am not the VA for this video. I am not taking that away from Karmpit, the regular VA for this series. I'm just here to explain what this video actually is. These season type of videos are just like the full movies of complete series over on the main channel. They're made to be easily bingeable and to catch you up with a series that's currently running. But the main difference here is it only represents a small part of the series, which goes along with the normal My Hero seasons and their respective arcs. So for example, this video will cover from Deku's starting arc all the way up to the battle training. I know season 1 does go up to the USJ, but that's not currently finished in this series, and I don't think I could render out a 3-hour video. In these types of videos, we'll be adding in extra sort of content, such as creator commentary, deleted scenes, and just previews of other parts. Sadly, due to time constraints, we weren't able to do it for this, but other season videos will. Though you should also see this video as your last chance if you want to keep this series on the channel, as the last couple of flash parts haven't been doing so well. The newest one failed to reach the current like goal, which is 80 likes in 2 weeks. So, if you want this series to continue, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and maybe a comment as well, to show that you genuinely want this. And as a quick side note before we get into the actual video with Karmpit, just know not every failing series will get a season. Some of our really popular series will get a season. Now, without any further ado, let's get into the video.
To understand my story, you need to do something first. Believe in the impossible. Can you do that? Good. You see, as a kid I was quirkless. I dreamed of becoming a hero, to become the impossible, to save others when they needed it. My name is Izuku Midoriya, and I am the fastest man alive. My story is simple. My whole life I have been running. Usually from bullies, especially my childhood friend / bully Kachan. Sometimes I escaped, sometimes I didn't. Later that day, a 4-year-old Izuku returns home, crying. His mother, Inko, who immediately tends to her son's injuries while tears are flowing down Izuku's eyes. "Tell me what happened," Inko said, putting bandages on Izuku's forehead as an innocent Izuku looks up to his mother. Just because Kachan has a quirk doesn't give him the right to bully people like me who don't have a quirk. It's not right, Mom, Izuku says in between sobs. "I know," Inko says, confiding to her son. "I guess I wasn't fast enough," Deku says, looking at the ground in utter disappointment. "No, Izuku, you have a good heart, and it's better that you have a good heart rather than fast legs or even a quirk," Izuku's mom responds, giving a young Izuku a hug. "But after that night, I was running from something much, much scarier. Something I can never explain. Something impossible." Unknown to neither of the two, Izuku's life was about to change forever. Waking up in the middle of the night from a large bang, Izuku sees his house completely trashed as villains terrorize his neighborhood, while a man in a suit filled with utter shock and confusion. Izuku hears a terrorizing scream, causing him to immediately jump out of bed, heading downstairs as he sees multiple villains surround Izuku's mother, Inko. Immediately catches a glimpse of her 4-year-old son, pleading for him to run. "Run, Izuku, run! Don't let him touch you!" Inko screamed, causing the villains to look at young Izuku. "Leave my son alone!" Inko pleads, as a masked man in a suit slaps her aside, heading towards Izuku. A frozen Izuku watches in horror as the masked man heads towards Izuku. Just before the masked presence could finish him off, Inko attracts a frying pan and throws it towards the masked man, turning his attention back to Inko. "You annoying little pest," the masked man exclaims as he's activated his quirk. Red lightning starts emitting from his arms, forming what seems like a blade. Inko looks right into her son's eyes, saying her last words that she will ever say to her beloved son. "Izuku, I love..." Only to get cut off by the masked man as he plunges his bladed arm into Inko's chest. the last thing Inko could ever hear was a scream. As we move to present day, a 14-year-old Izuku wakes from his daymare screaming, causing the entire class to look at him gasping for air. Izuku, are you alright? The teacher asks as Izuku gets a hold of himself. Yeah, sorry for the sudden outburst. It's just that I miss my mom so much. Izuku starts to cry once again. Listen here, you damn nerd, Katsuki says, turning towards him. I know you had a rough childhood, but that's 10 years ago, Deku. You need to face the facts that she's gone. Look, I'm really sorry for your loss, but you can't change the past, Bakugo says in a calm, aggressive tone. It's not that simple, Kacha. Izuku mutters quietly. Just when the class is about to end, Izuku's teacher announces they will be going on a field trip to a place called Star Labs, as they have developed a particle accelerator which will be turned on that night. The accelerator itself will be unlimited energy to Japan. This excites Izuku, causing him to do usual muttering to the annoyance of his classmates. Hey, Deku, you're muttering again. As his childhood friend and adoptive sister, Ochaku Uraka says, poking at him, breaking him out of a trance. Oh, sorry, Uraka. I didn't know I was muttering again. It's just, after that night, I have been obsessed with science. I just want to be like everyone else, to have Quirk. Izuku explains, causing Bakugo to burst out laughing. Quirks don't just drop out of the sky, Deku. You'll never get a quirk. It's not like you'll get struck by lightning and get some type of quirk that's impossible. This causes an already insecure Deku to hide in his embarrassment while Uraka comforts him. You see, following the death of Izuku's mother, Uraka's father takes Izuku into his family as he had a close relationship with Izuku's father, whose whereabouts are unknown. Ever since that day, Izuku and Uraka have become very close, so close that, in fact, Izuku developed a crush on her, but was too shy to confess his two feelings to her. Also, in this timeline, Bakugo isn't as much of a bully towards Izuku that much compared to an actual canon. This is because following the death of Inko by the hands of All For One, Katsuki realized that tormenting Izuku is wrong. He feels really bad for having seen his childhood friend go through such a traumatic experience, but usually keeps his distance from Izuku. He still teases the boy here and there, but it's meant with Uraka protecting her stepbrother over the years. Later that day, on the graduation trip, Izuku's class boarded the bus taking them to Star Labs. The bus ride itself was uneventful, except for Izuku was taking all the science to Uraka and how the particle accelerator will benefit the entire country once it launches. You need to get yourself a girlfriend, Deku, Uraka states immediately, causing Izuku's face to turn red in a flash. I don't think I'm ready for that yet, Izuku responds as the bus grinds to a halt. Exiting the bus, Izuku and Uraka meet up with the rest of the class while the teacher takes the class on a tour to the facility, showing them around to the laboratory. This causes Izuku to take notes about fusion and astrophysics, hoping that this will grant him a quirk. Passing through many scientific rooms, only a nerd like Izuku can understand. As the day quickly goes by, as one of the scientists was explaining the benefits of a new form of energy, while the class was listening to what the lead scientist had to say about what they mean large particle accelerator, a hooded figure snacks Uraka's purse. Hey, he stole my purse! Uraka yells as Izuku immediately gives chase to the hooded thief. Eventually, Izuku manages to catch up to the hooded assailant. Hey, it's not nice to steal a young girl's belongings! Izuku screams as the thief turns around, revealing to be an amateur villain. Oh, and why's that? The villain asks, slowly transforming into a sludge-like monster, causing Izuku to freeze in place. Because it's not right, Izuku responded by throwing his backpack towards the sludge villain, charging towards the sludge monster, only to be caught by his slimy hands. You're mine now, kid. The sludge villain said, slowly devouring Izuku from the inside out, as the green-hand boar shrieked in fear, slowly slipping away from consciousness. Your body will suit me much better than my previous one, the sludge villain commented, nearly taking over Izuku's body. Izuku felt like he was being suffocated from the inside out. Just as he was about to fade in total darkness, a voice broke the tension. "Keep your hands off of him," Pro Hero mutters, attacking the sludge villain, forcing him to release his grip. Landing on the ground, struggling to catch his breath, Izuku quickly took up to his feet, bolting out of the room as fast as 2 feet would allow him, leaving the Pro Hero to deal with the sludge villain. Sometimes it passes as Izuku reunites with Uraka and the rest of his classmates. "Oh my god, Izuku, are you okay?" Uraka asks him to give him a hug. "I'm fine, Uraka. Thanks for asking." Izuku replies just as the same Pro Hero that saved Izuku walks out and approaches the two, the sludge villain trapped within a bottle. "I believe this is yours, young lady," the Pro Hero says, giving Uraka her pink purse back. "Oh my goodness, my purse, thank you!" Uraka shouting with joy, happy to have her belongings back. "Make sure to keep out of trouble," said the Pro Hero, turning his head to Izuku. "And as for you, young man, what you said was reckless, but brave. You could have gotten yourself killed. Next time, leave the pros to do their job." Pro Hero said, lecturing Izuku. "If only I had a quirk," Izuku retorts back quietly as the Pro Hero leaves. That night, the launch of the particle accelerator was about to happen. As Uraka and her parents watched the news downstairs, Izuku was in his room, or should I say a makeshift lab, looking at a board covered with news articles from that night, and potential villain suspects that matched Izuku's profile of the man who killed his mother. As rain falls onto the house, crackles of thunder breaking the silent night from time to time, Izuku took out his family photo of him and Inko. "I'm so sorry, Mom. I wasn't able to save you. But I'll find the man who killed you and bring him to justice. I will be the next All Might," Izuku says to himself. All of a sudden, the entire house starts to shake violently as he notices that something is wrong, looking at his TV as the news reporter reports the launch of the particle accelerator. "We are now being told to evacuate this facility. The thunderstorm may have caused a malfunction in the primary cooling system. Officials are now desperately trying to shut down the particle accelerator, but so far unable to regain control of the facility. Updates to..." All of a sudden, the electricity cuts out, leaving the house in complete darkness. As the sound of rain and thunder can be heard outside, Izuku looks out the window, such as a huge explosion of light engulfing the entire city in seconds. Izuku, out of curiosity, opens his skylight, only to see the thunderclouds above him as the chemicals start to levitate out of their beakers. Before Izuku could do anything, a large bolt of electricity struck him, sending him back into the shelf of chemicals, engulfing himself with chemicals in the process. At that very moment, Uraka and her parents run up to Izuku's room, only to see a motionless Izuku. "Deku!" Uraka screams, running towards the young boy, only to be held back by her father. "Don't shock her, you'll be electrocuted," Uraka's father yells, holding her back. As the ambulance arrives and the paramedics take Izuku into the back of the ambulance, 14-year-old boy struck by lightning? One of the paramedics yelled, hooking up to an EKG monitor. "How is he even still alive?" The other paramedic asked, as a flash of light trickles across Izuku's face, causing his heartbeat to stop. "No heartbeat. He's coding," one of the paramedics states as he quickly load him in the back of the ambulance. Such as Uraka runs out of the front door, approaching the EMT. "You can't be here," one of the paramedics says as she quickly escorted back to the house by police. "I'm family! Deku!" Uraka screams, tears flowing down her eyes, seeing Izuku being taken away by the EMT. Just as the ambulance drives off, leaving Uraka alone. 9 months pass as Izuku wakes up in a strange room. Where am I?" Izuku asks as he sees a muscular figure on top of him. "Ah, you're finally awake, young Midoriya," said a familiar voice. "Is that..." Izuku asks, regaining his vision to see the number one hero, All Might, beside him. All Might?" Izuku jolts up as Recovery Girl and Principal Nezu attend to Izuku. "How long was I asleep and where the hell am I?" said a panicked Izuku, to which Principal Nezu quickly responded by putting his paws on Izuku's arm. "Midoriya, please, you've just woken up from a 9-month coma. I need you to calm down." "I've been asleep for 9 months?" Izuku screams out loud, shocked to hear the amount of time that went by during his comatose state. I never knew that my life would change forever. First, my mother was murdered by a villain, and I was unable to stop him. Then I got caught in the midst of a particle accelerator explosion while having the odds of a bolt of electricity striking me to only to wake up 9 months later. Something tells me life has something in store for me. Izuku Midoriya has just woken up in a hospital room after a 9-month coma due to being struck by lightning following the particle accelerator explosion, to where now they're referring to the Star Labs incident. Quickly getting a hold of himself, he's surrounded by Principal Nezu, Recovery Girl, and his number one hero, the symbol of peace himself, All Might. I was in a coma for 9 months? Izuku shouted in pure shock. Eyes gazed on All Might.
Young Midoriya, please, don't overwork yourself. I know this is a tough time for you, All Might responded,
calming Izuku down as he stepped out of his hospital bed, looking at a monitor, noticing a huge change to Izuku's body. Lightning gave me abs? Izuku asked, looking at his more physique body. Mr. Midoriya, if you please, there's much to discuss, Principal Nezu said, walking out of the room with Izuku. The two walked down the hallways of UA High School, passing by classrooms filled with the next generation of heroes. It was the school that Izuku dreamed of going to ever since the death of his mother. The two walked solemnly for a short while. It wasn't until Principal Nezu broke the awkward silence. So I heard you wanted to study here, to become a pro hero, Midoriya? Nezu asked the green-haired boy, while the two walked down a hallway. Yes, sir. Ever since the death of my mother, I have strived on becoming a pro hero. Unfortunately, I don't have a quirk, but nevertheless, this isn't going to stop me from becoming who I want to become, Izuku responded with determination. Well, Midoriya, that's some dream you have, especially for individuals without a quirk. I've heard about your past, and I'm sorry for what happened. I don't want you to have to go through the childhood you went through, Principal Nezu said. He felt bad for the young boy. As he said this, Izuku remembered the last moment during that night. Run, Izuku, run! Ingo's voice kept echoing in his head, trying his best to keep his composure. The two finally arrived at the teacher's lounge. Please, you first, Midoriya, Nezu said, opening the door for Izuku as he stepped in, taking a seat on the couch. So, what brings me here? Excluding the fact I've been in a coma for 9 months. Shouldn't I be in a hospital? Izuku asking multiple questions to Nezu, and he's usually muttering habit. Slow down there, Mr. Midoriya. I know you're still trying to catch up with what's been going on. I can explain everything, Nezu responded, breaking Izuku out of his muttering trance. Before you arrived here at UA, the hospital you were stationed at was experiencing several power outages every time you went into cardiac arrest, which was actually a misdiagnosis. You see, Midoriya, you weren't flatlining. Your heartbeat was beating so fast the EKG monitor wasn't able to register it. Now, I'm not a complete expert on medical science compared to the recovery girl, who's been tending your energies throughout your 9-month comatose state. But Mr. Uraka and his daughter gave permission for us to take you into our hands, where we were able to stabilize your condition, Nezu explained, causing Izuku to look at him. Uraka came to see me? Izuku asked in curiosity. Uraka, yes. In fact, she came to see you too many times, for that matter, Nezu asked, answering Izuku's question.
Yeah, she does talk a lot,
All Might added, on walking into the staff lounge, sitting next to Principal Nezu. With that being said, I know you are eager to get back out there and return to your normal life. As a matter of fact, the UA entrance exam is right around the corner, Principal Nezu announced, causing Izuku to panic due to how many months he lost, unable to prepare for the exam. No, I wasn't able to prepare for it. Izuku shouted internally, which distressed him until All Might broke the silence.
Young Midoriya, don't worry, you still have time. There's only 1 month left until the entrance exam, says All Might, relieving Izuku.
Calming him down only a bit, knowing most of his classmates have already had 9 months in advance to prepare for the exam compared to Izuku. I need to go, Izuku abruptly said, quickly standing up, walking out of the teacher's lounge, only to be stopped by Principal Nezu. Wait, Mr. Midoriya, we still haven't finished conducting tests on you. If you could please stay here for a while longer, Nezu said, causing Izuku to look back at him. I need to see Uraka. She must be worried. Don't worry, I'm fine. Izuku replied, running out of the room.
And there he goes.
All Might says, looking at Principal Nezu. He has some potential, don't get me wrong, Nezu says, as the two just sat there, evaluating what has just happened. Later that day, Uraka was at home preparing for the upcoming entrance exam. Only 1 month left until the entrance exam. Just wish Deku were here, Uraka said to herself, fidgeting with her pen. Hearing the front door open, Uraka looks towards Izuku, who is now fully awake standing in front of her, quickly dropping her pencil and notebook. Oh my god, Deku! Uchaku shouted, running towards her adopted brother, giving him a hug. I missed you so much, Uraka. Izuku responded, looking at her cute, adorable face. You're awake. Why didn't you call us? Uraka asked out loud. I just woke up. Izuku replied, the two locking eyes with one another. Should you even be on your feet? Uraka asked with concern. I'm okay, Uraka. Izuku happily responded. Deku, I watched you die. Your heart kept stopping, said Uraka, causing Izuku to put her hand on his now muscular chest, immediately turning Uraka's face red. It's still beating, Izuku happily answered. It feels really fast, Uraka commented. Izuku's awake? Uraka's mom asked, running over towards the two, dropping a cup of tea in the process. Oops, Uraka's mother said. All of a sudden, everything seemed to slow down in Izuku's perspective. As he saw the falling cup of tea fall to the ground, quickly grabbing it before it shattered. I got it. Izuku catches the cup of tea with his hand, shocking both Uraka and her mother. Thanks, gee, you were fast, Uraka's mother commented, putting the cup of tea back on the table. Where's Dad? Uraka asked her mom. Oh, Daddy's at work, honey. He'll be home shortly, Mrs. Uraka answered. Let's go see him, Deku. He's gonna be so happy to see you, said Uraka, grabbing Izuku's hand, and the two quickly ran out of the house, eager to see their father. While walking to their father's workplace, both Uraka and Izuku are back on track, explaining what's been happening with the family along his classmates. Arriving at the beach hallway to Mr. Uraka's work, Izuku hears a familiar noise, all too familiar to him. His former childhood buddy, Katsuki Bakugo, quickly approached him, using his explosive word. The damn nerd's finally awake, Bakugo yelled in an angry demeanor, charging towards the young boy. All of a sudden, Bakugo seemed to slow down from Izuku's perspective, being the second time for time to slow down for a moment, and returning to normal speed as Katsuki tackles Bakugo to the ground, falling on the sandy beach. Why didn't you tell me you were awake, Deku? An angry Bakugo, demanding an answer. I just woke up, Kachan. Izuku quickly responded, getting back up to the help of Uraka. I'm all set for the entrance exam in UA. I can't wait to show everyone that I'm ready to become the next #1 hero. Bakugo confidently yelled out loud. I'm pretty sure you're not going to make the cut, huh, Deku? You don't even have a quirk, unlike me. Bakugo bragged, laughing, generating mini explosions from his hand, taunting the green-haired boy. Leave him alone, Bakugo. Deku's going through a hard time and he doesn't need someone to put him down, Uraka responded with her usual protective demeanor. Alright. I'll leave him alone. Take this as a lucky break, Deku. I'll see you at the entrance exam if you don't decide to quit, Bakugo said, walking away, leaving both Uraka and Izuku with one another. That Kachan always teases me, Izuku muttered, while Uraka held Izuku. Don't worry. I'll be there to protect you, Izuku. Besides, I've been doing that since we were kids, Uraka replied. Finally arriving at their father's work, the two walk into the front door, causing Mr. Uraka to turn his attention to his adopted son and daughter.
Oh, you scared the living daylights out of us, kid.
Mr. Uraka immediately hugged Izuku with his death grip, causing Izuku to yelp in pain. I missed you too, Dad. A distressed Izuku said, feeling the bare pressure of his adopted father's grip. You can let go of me now. Izuku muttered as Mr. Uraka released him from his fatherly hug.
You look okay, Midoriya. Nothing for me to worry about?
Mr. Uraka asked while Izuku nodded.
Mr. Uraka, something requires your immediate attention.
A fellow coworker, informing their dad of upcoming work.
I gotta run, kids. Stay safe. I'll see you back at the house.
Uraka's father waving goodbye to his kids. Seems Dad misses you a lot. Uraka muttered, out of a bit of jealousy. I guess, Izuku responded as they walked out the door. As the two were walking back home from their father's workplace, both Izuku and Uraka were crossing the street, hearing sirens of police cars nearby as a speeding car was pursued by several police cars, which were quickly darting towards the two. Barely having any time to react, Izuku darted his eyes towards the upcoming traffic, and all of a sudden time froze. It was like his body froze in time, where everything stood still. What the? Izuku asked as he grabbed Uraka, taking him safely at breakneck speeds, just barely avoiding the speeding car that headed towards him. What just happened? Uraka asked, looking at Izuku's face filled with confusion. I don't know. We were just about to get hit by that oncoming car, but all of a sudden we managed to move out of the way just before it hit us. Izuku responded. Unknown in Izuku, Uraka noticed that Izuku's hand was vibrating, worrying her. Deku, your hand is... Uraka pointed at Izuku's right hand. It was vibrating uncontrollably. My hand! What's happening to me? Izuku panicked in fear, unable to stop his hand from vibrating, feeling something charging up inside of him. Izuku felt like he needed to run. His body wanted to take off, so he let himself succumb to the new power. And Izuku ran down the street, unable to stop, crashing into a truck filled with pillows, screaming in pain. Quickly catching his balance, Deku, are you okay? Uraka screamed from afar, running towards Izuku as the truck driver looked at Izuku, now covered in feathers. Awesome! I think I just manifested my quirk. Izuku muttered to himself, with joy knowing now he has a quirk for himself. A few hours go by as Uraka and Izuku arrive back at UA High. His principal Nezu meets them at the front of the school. Great to see you back, Mr. Midoriya. I see that you've manifested a quirk, said the principal, quickly taking the two into the school, heading towards Recovery Girl's office. As the three walked into her office, Nezu directed Izuku to an all-familiar hospital bed, sitting on the bed while Recovery Girl hooked him up to a monitor. So what's going on with you today, Mr. Midoriya? Recovery Girl asked in concern, letting Izuku explain his current situation. Well, ever since I woke up from my coma, I've been experiencing some odd spells. When I came home to see Uraka, her mother dropped a cup of tea at first. I saw it fall in slow motion, and I slowed down my perspective, and all of a sudden I managed to grab a cup of tea moments before it shattered. I then saw my childhood bully Kachan dart towards me. He seemed to slow down, but the most notable part was when Uraka and I was almost run over by a speeding car that was heading towards us. I felt this sudden burst of energy inside of me, and it was like I felt this electrical surge course through my entire body as time slowed down, where everything seemed to stop. I managed to save ourselves before the car hit us. Next time I knew, I ran down the street. I crashed into a truck filled with pillows. In a matter of seconds, have I manifested a quirk? Izuku explained his concerns to the old nurse, nodding to Izuku's story. I had a feeling this would happen, Principal Nezu muttered out loud while turning on a computer screen revealing Izuku's biometric data. Recently, there has been an influx of quirkless individuals suddenly manifesting quirks following the particle accelerator explosion. We've received a huge spike of villain attacks 6 to 7 months after the explosion. I initially thought they were late bloomers, but now my suspicions were confirmed after what you just told me, and you waking up from a 9-month coma. It seems you manifested a speed quirk, allowing you to run at supersonic speeds. With that being said, I will be assigning All Might to be keeping an eye on you for a month until the entrance exam. But first, we'll need to see the full potential of your quirk, Principal Nezu explained, shocking both Uraka and Izuku. So, I'm not the only one who's a late bloomer? Izuku asked as Nezu nodded, just as All Might ran into the office.
Do not worry, young Midoriya. I am here to help you master your new quirk.
All Might yelled with his usual tone. Is that, All Might, the symbol of peace? Uraka asked out loud, shocked to see the #1 hero in person. Yeah, it's him, Izuku replied, while a fangirl Uraka stood in awe. Eventually getting a hold of herself, she asked, so where are we going?
Well, we're going to Ida's, young lady. They might be able to help you since you have a similar speed quirk as young Midoriya. All Might answered, who's eager to understand Izuku's newfound ability.
From that day forward, my life has completely changed. Once from being a quirky-less boy, I was now the fastest man alive. I never knew that this day would happen, where I would manifest a quirk from a particle accelerator explosion. From this day forward, my career as a hero begins. All Might, Uraka, and Izuku arrived at an airfield not that far away from the school, approaching 2 boys in what seemed to be wearing protective armor, probably to protect them from the friction they create when running. Izuku thought to himself, stopping at the start of the runway.
Young Midoriya, I'd like you to meet Tensei Ida. You may know him as Ingenium, the Turbo Hero. I figure that since you have a similar quirk compared to him and his brother, he could probably help you, said All Might, introducing Izuku to the Pro Turbo Hero. Nice to meet you, Tensei. Name's Izuku, introducing himself just as Tensei finished his introduction for him. Izuku Midoriya, I know. All Might told me a lot about you. You sounded that it was urgent, which is why we're here in the first place. From what he told me, I heard you're pretty fast, if I'm not mistaken. Tensei asked while Izuku nodded, turning his attention to his younger brother. This is my younger brother, Tenya Ida. He's also wanting to become a pro hero. In fact, he's planning to enroll with you. Wait, isn't that right, brother? Ida's older brother teasing him, rubbing his head playfully. Alright, bro, that's enough. But yeah, I'm planning to enroll. Nice to make you an acquaintance, Tenya replied, offering his hand to Izuku, to which he quickly shook. And who's this young lady? Is that your girlfriend? Tensei asked, causing both Izuku and Uraka's face to turn bright red. No, we're just brother and sister. The two yelled in sync, with one another trying to change the subject. Well, you guys don't look related to one another, so I assumed that she must have been your grocer. Sorry to cause any discomfort, Tensei says, giving an apology to the two. It's a long story, Izuku responded, trying not to think about the day where Mr. Uraka took him into his family. With the introductions out of the way, it is time to test Izuku's newfound abilities. As All Might and Tensei talked to one another, a curious Tenya walked up to Izuku. So, I heard you were hit bus, Tenya asked in curiosity. Struck by lightning, Izuku said, correcting the blue-haired boy. Oh, my mistake. It must be a lot to take in, if I say so myself, Tenya responded in an understanding demeanor. Well, from what my brother says, you're fast. He told me that you've manifested a quirk recently, and he's been dying to see how fast you really are, Tenya says, just as the symbol of peace and the Turbo Hero stepped out of the van. Without further ado, young man, let's get this started, said Tensei, who was fully suited up as Ingenium, walking out with a dark red skin-tight suit. This is a reinforced tripolymer suit. It has heat and abrasive resistance, so it should withstand the stress while you're moving at supersonic velocities, Tensei explained, which excited the young boy. Wait, is that... Tenya asked, pointing to the red suit. The suit I gave you when you first started training. Yeah. Tensei responded as Izuku swiftly suited himself up. Feels a little snug. Izuku commented while Ida's brothers started setting up his suit. I will be monitoring your energy output and Tenya monitoring your speed, Tensei said, handing Izuku a pair of lightning bolt air pieces. And what's this? Izuku asked, holding 2 earpieces in his hand. This is a 2-way headset fitted with a camera, typically designed to combat battlefield impulse noise, but in your case, potential sonic booms you might create, says Tensei, which he promptly installed the earpieces on the suit's cowl. Alright then, shall we get started, young Midoriya? All Might asked a suited up Izuku, turning his body towards a single piece, giving him a thumbs up. Mr. Midoriya, well, we're all extremely eager to see your full range of abilities. I do caution a bit of restraint, Tensei stated while the 4 stepped back, in preparation for what's yet to come. Putting himself into a running position, righting himself, Izuku felt the same electrical urge of energy that coursed through his body when he saved Uraka. Taking a deep breath, he let himself become one with his body. Closing his eyes, he felt an electrical sensation building up. Opening eyes, orange electricity trickled across Izuku's eyes, taking off at such high speeds that it caused the surrounding area to blow back, causing Ida to fall back from the excessive force of wind pressure that Izuku generated, shocking the 2, including Uraka, watching in awe, seeing her brother walk across the airfield, what seemed like a blur of scarlet streak. As Ida got back up, he pointed his radar gun towards the now running Izuku. That's impossible, Uraka stated, in pure disbelief when Ida checked the speedometer. He just passed 300 miles per hour. That's faster than my brother, Tenya shouted in pure shock, looking directly at his brother, who he too shared the same facial expression. Izuku never felt the sensation before. It was like he was free from everything surrounding him, his legs propelling him forward, screaming in pure excitement. This caused Izuku to flash back to the night where his mother was killed by the masked villain 10 years ago. Mom! A 4-year-old Izuku screamed, reaching out to Inko. Don't let him touch you, Izuku! Inko responded, while the masked villain advanced towards the young boy, snapping out of his trance. Izuku suddenly noticed the end of the runway, which was covered with wall barrels filled with water. Barely having any time to stop, Izuku put his arm in front of him as he collided with the wall barrels, causing a huge splash, sending the barrels tumbling everywhere. Screaming in pain from the sheer impact, Izuku noticed that his right hand was completely broken, which of course shocked the young boy. The brothers quickly ran towards Izuku's aid, helping him up and taking him back to UA to get treated. Arriving back into Recovery Girl's office, Tensei and Uraka helped Izuku onto the hospital bed. Well, the Recovery Girl booted up a monitor revealing an x-ray of Izuku's right hand. It seems you have a distal radius fracture, the Recovery Girl said out loud, confusing both Uraka and Izuku. Had? The two asked in sync with another confusingly. It's healed in a little over 3 hours, Recovery Girl answered, shocking her to her core. How is that even possible? Izuku asked, demanding an answer. I don't know. Most people would have taken at least weeks or even months to heal from that injury, without me using my quirk, of course. Recovery Girl answered just as All Might walked up to the green-haired boy. What happened out there today, young Midoriya? You're doing quite well, and all of a sudden something caused you to lose your focus. All Might asked, a distressed Izuku looking at the symbol piece. I started remembering something. Greatly interesting Tenya, who looked towards Izuku. When I was 4 years old, my mother was murdered, said Izuku, causing Tensei to turn towards him. It was late at night. A huge sound woke me up, and I came downstairs. I saw what looked like several villains surrounding my mom. Most notably, a tall man who was covered in this red ball of lightning. There was this man who wore a mask. He killed my mom. The last thing I remembered was me screaming just before I fell unconscious. Izuku explained, while tears rolled down his eyes. This shocked everyone in the room, including All Might. who obviously has some history with his villain. Young Midoriya, so sorry for you to go through all of that. Must be tough, says All Might as he embraces the young boy. I too need to tell you something, All Might says as the smoke started to form around him, shrinking in size as he turned into a skinny, pale, blonde man, shocking Izuku, Uraka, and Tenya at the core. The man you saw that night, I fought him myself, but the fight damaged me beyond repair. All Might explained, lifting his shirt, revealing a large scar on the right of his torso. The damage I sustained was irreparable. All my respiratory organs were shattered beyond repair. I can only do hero work and sustain my muscle form for only a little over 3 hours. All Might continued. No one else knows this other than Recovery Girl and the rest of the UA's faculty. Please don't tell anyone about my secret. All Might pleaded to the young kids. Don't worry, your secrets are safe with us, Uraka muttered, while the two boys nodded in agreement. Following that, All Might became Izuku's mentor. With the help of the Ida brothers, throughout the month they would race on the beach, which Izuku beat the two of them with no trouble at all. On every second day, All Might would train Izuku on how to use his powers to fight, teaching him many techniques in hand-to-hand combat, most notably being able to generate a small, powerful tornado by running in circles. In no time at all, it was time for the UA entrance exam. All Might and Tensei meeting the boys in Uraka in front of the school. Well then, it is time for the entrance exam. I wish you all the best. Make us proud, you three. Go beyond, plus ultra! All Might yelled his iconic catchphrase as the three walked into the school headed towards the orientation room. On the way there, Izuku bumped into his childhood bully and friend, Katsuki Bakugo.
Oh, you didn't decide to quit after all, huh, Deku?
Katsuki asked, looking at the young boy.
Well, no me, Kacha. I never quit.
Izuku responded.
Well, just you wait, you damn nerd. I'm going to score the top score and become the #1 hero.
The spiky blonde-haired boy declared, walking into the orientation room.
We'll see, Kachan,
Izuku said to himself. As Uraka, Ida, and Midoriya sat themselves down, President Mike came on the stage. Welcome to the next generation of heroes. I am President Mike. I see you are all eager to enroll at UA. Some of you may pass, some of you may not. With that being said, I am sure everyone's wondering what the practical part of the exam. You'll be assigned different locations to where you will have to fight our state-of-the-art robots. Each robot will award you 1 to 3 points. Watch out for the 0-point robot. A word of advice, just run. You either get yourself killed from trying to fight it. President Mike said, explaining the layout of the practical exam. This caused Izuku to contemplate his next move. Without realizing, as he started muttering too much to the annoyance of Ida, as Uraka snapped him out of his muttering habit. With the instructions out of the way, it was time for the practical part of the exam to start. Izuku felt pretty confident with the written part of the exam. Now it was the hardest part of the exam. Sitting at the door nervously, Uraka approached the nervous Deku. Don't worry, Deku, you'll do it, says Uraka, patting Izuku on the head. Thanks, Uraka, Izuku replied, calming down slightly. Just when the doors opened, beyond them it was a large city. A moment passed as no one moved, confused on what to do. President Mike got into the intercom once again. What's wrong? There are no real countdowns to fight. Run and go already. President Mike yelled. That was all he needed. That was all that he needed to say to Izuku, who now understood his new quirk thanks to a month-long training with the Ida brothers. And All Might, getting into a running position, letting himself become one with his quirk. Izuku's eyes sparked with an orange electricity, taking off at supersonic speeds. It knocked the rest of the applicants down, shocking them. All, including Bakugo. What was that? Bakugo asked, seeing a green blur dart away from them, quickly dismantling one of the robots as Izuku started racking up points. That guy's really fast, another student said out loud, while both Uraka and Ida looked at Izuku, looked back at one another, at each other, not letting Izuku take all the points for himself. As the group followed both Ida and Uraka, Ida manages to catch up to Izuku running throughout the battlefield as the 2 have a small conversation. Don't think that you can take all the robots for yourself, Midoriya. Ida shouted, causing Izuku to smile back. Same goes for you, Izuku replied as the two darted towards a three-pointer robot. Using his speed, Izuku delivers a powerful speed punch just before Ida could make an attack, destroying the robot before him taking off, leaving Ida behind much to his jealousy. As time runs out, Izuku thinks to himself that he should let everyone else have a chance to rack up some points since he's sure made the top 10, if not top score already. The ground suddenly shakes as the zero-pointer robot rises out of the rubble, destroying the tall buildings in the process, causing all of the students to look at the gigantic zero-pointer. Ida, cowering in fear, runs away from the zero-pointer robot, followed by the rest of the group, leaving Izuku frozen on the ground. I know this robot doesn't have any points. Should I even try to fight it? Izuku asked himself, contemplating whether or not he should take down the zero-pointer. Just as he was processing his next move, he hears an all-familiar voice pleading for help. Ow! I can't move! Someone help! Uraka screamed, trying to free herself while everyone was running away from her. Both Izuku and Uraka locked eyes with one another, causing Izuku to flash back to the night where he saw his mother die at the hand of a masked villain. Izuku clenched his fist and said, I will not stand by while I let another person that I love suffer. Izuku yelled out, while All Might looked at the TV monitor watching his new apprentice. That's it, young Midoriya. Show them what you're really made of. You can do this, young. Run, young Midoriya. Run. All Might yelled, seeing Izuku. The fallen debris that the zero-pointer made and the broken pieces of scrap metal left from the previous robots that were destroyed, Izuku lifted, all as the rubble and debris started to knock the zero-pointer off balance. Using this opportunity, Izuku used the debris circling around the tornado as footing so Izuku can run around the tornado, propelling himself by using the velocity and wind from his speed tornado. Izuku lunged towards the zero-pointer robot, delivering a huge speed punch, causing the head of the zero-pointer to implode on itself. Uraka, seeing her adopted brother save her, could not think of how amazing Izuku has become. Slightly blushing for a bit as she saw her hero destroy the zero-pointer, she noticed Izuku began to fall. I didn't think of this entirely! Izuku screamed out loud as he started to fall. Just before he hit the ground of impact, Uraka slapped Izuku's face, making him float. Release! Uraka yelled, releasing Deku from her quirk. Just as he landed on the ground, Uraka started to vomit from nausea as Izuku stood up, walking towards Uraka. Hey, are you... Izuku, unable to complete a sentence, just as he collapsed from the stress that he exerted in order to save Uraka. And time's up! President Mike announced as the rest of the students tried to process what just happened. Wow, that kid really has some guts. One of the students commented, yeah, it's like he took that zero-pointer robot out with no trouble at all. Said another as Edith looked back in pure shock, noticing an angry Bakugo who was fuming with anger. That damn nerd has a quirk. When did he get one? Katsuki screamed just before charging towards Izuku, barely able to hold an anger, only to be stopped by Ida. As a short amount of time passes, Recovery Girl arrives, healing anyone who got hurt, looking towards the now knocked out Izuku, while Uraka attends to his injuries. She looks at the old nurse. Will he be... Uraka asked, looking down towards her dead brother. Alright? Yes, he just passed out from the amount of stress he exerted. Make sure he gets a good night's rest and a huge meal. Recovery Girl replies, putting the unconscious Izuku on the hospital bed, taking him to a recovery room, while Uraka follows. Waking up in the recovery room, Izuku saw Recovery Girl and Uraka by her side. Glad to see you're awake, my brave hero, Uraka stated while holding Izuku's hand. That's some guts you got there, kid, All Might says, as he walks into the room while Izuku sat himself up. What happened? A confused Izuku asked, now looking at his healed arm that he used to speed punch the zero-pointer. You saved her, of course, but it took a heavy toll on your body. Cover Girl explained. I passed out? Izuku asked, looking at the screen. It seems you suffered from a total metabolic failure, followed by acute hypoglycemia. Recovery Girl answered, I'm not eating enough, so an IV bag and I'm good to go. Izuku replied, looking at both Uraka and Recovery Girl. Try 40 of them. Guess you were thirsty. All Might said, causing Izuku to turn around and see the empty bags of IVs. Shocking Izuku. We're gonna need to fashion an all-new diet for you, Izuku, based on your metabolic changes. To my calculations, you need to consume at least 10,000 calories a day in order to sustain yourself while you run. Recovery Girl explained, causing both Uraka and Izuku's faces to drop. That's a lot of food! The two of them shouted in unison. We'll have it ready soon. Get some young rest from Doria. And Uraka, your results will be coming soon. All I could say is that you both went beyond plus ultra, and I'm impressed, said the symbol piece, congratulating the two. Arriving back home, Uraka's parents were already meeting them at the front door. Oh, my sweet old Chaka, are you okay? Miss Uraka asked, giving her daughter a hug. I'm fine, Mom. Really, thanks to Deku. Uraka replied as Mr. Uraka ran towards the exhausted Izuku. Midoriya, we saw everything on TV. You saving your sister is the highlight of the entire exam. I'm so proud of you, son. Mr. Uraka, congratulating the green-haired boy, giving him a fatherly hug. Yeah, thanks, Dad. I need some rest. Izuku responded, heading towards the room. And there he goes, Mrs. Uraka muttered as Izuku closed the door. 1 week passes. As the two nervously awaited the results to come in, all of a sudden Mr. Uraka barged into Izuku's room. The saying goes there's Uraka's mother telling them their results are in. Midoriya, your results are in! Mr. Uraka shouted, handing Izuku the envelope. It's here already? Izuku asked, snagging the envelope from his stepfather's hands. I'll give you some privacy. I know you made us proud, Mr. Uraka responded, closing the door. As Izuku walked towards his desk, opening the envelope, revealing a small device. Oh, it's the moment of truth, Izuku said out loud, turning the device on, revealing a hologram of All Might. Young Midoriya, I am here to deliver the news of your practical exam results, All Might shouted as Izuku nervously awaited his results. As Izuku sat in front of his desk, a small device projected his idol, his number one hero, All Might, on the holographic device. Oh my god, it's All Might! Izuku shouted in pure joy while this video started playing. Young Midoriya, I am here to deliver the news of your practical exam results, All Might shouted, causing Izuku to literally be on the edge of his seat. It is with great pleasure that I announce that I am now a part of UA's faculty. I will be teaching at UA High this year. It isn't just me fighting villains 24/7, you know, All Might announced, causing the green-haired boy to scream in pure awe. With that being said, I am certain you are eager to find out your results. Am I not mistaken, young Midoriya? All Might asked Izuku via hologram, even though it was a recorded video. Of course I do, just tell me if I made the top 10 already! Izuku screamed at the top of his lungs, so loud in fact that even Uraka could hear him scream in the other room. That Deku is sure excited, Uraka said to herself before turning her attention back to her holographic device, awaiting her results. Back in Izuku's room, Izuku is more eager than ever to hear if he surpassed his rival, Bakugo, as the recording continued. Without further ado, you've aced the written part of the exam, but during the practical, you've impressed every faculty member at UA. In fact, you scored 52 hero points in a matter of minutes. That's quite impressive for someone with your type of quirk. You've also earned 75 rescue points after your courageous act on saving someone in need. I mean, using the debris made by the zero-pointer and parts of broken robots is impressive. But your most highlightable part was when you used your tornado attack to propel yourself towards the zero-pointer, delivering the final blow. That was a feat that only a pro hero can do. I know that you've obviously passed the exam, but you've managed to score. All Might explained to the now shocked Izuku, whose face dropped to his desk, desperately waiting for the symbol piece to announce his score. First place in the entrance exam. Congratulations, young Midoriya. Upon hearing the news, Izuku screamed in pure joy, his screams echoing throughout the house
as Uraka overheard Izuku's score. First place! Are you kidding me? Impossible! Uraka yelled in response regarding her brother's score.
Before I end this message, I have something to tell you personally. After your orientation tomorrow, please see me at the staff lounge. Once again, congratulations, young Midoriya, and welcome to your new Hero Academia.
Said the simple piece before the recording stopped playing, leaving a baffled Izuku. Running out of his room using his speed, he meets the rest of the Urukas in the living room, revealing the news.
Ah, Midoriya, congratulations on your acceptance to UA. I'm so proud of you. Your mother would be so proud of your achievements, Izuku,
said Mr. Uraka, congratulating the young speedster. Thanks, Dad. Really, I appreciate it. Izuku responded as Mrs. Uraka turned her attention to him. What was your score again? Mrs. Uraka asked in curiosity. I scored 52 hero points and 75 rescue points for saving Uraka. I managed to snag first place in the entrance exam. Izuku answering Mrs. Uraka's question, causing both parents' face to drop in pure shock.
What? 127 points? That's impossible!
Mr. Uraka yelled in pure denial. Well, I did just wake up from a coma last month, only to discover I can run at supersonic speeds. Izuku responded, as both parents congratulated their adoptive son on his feats.
We're so proud of you, Izuku. Please continue to make us proud. Do it all for us.
Both Mr. and Mrs. Uraka cried with joy. How did Uraka do, if I may ask? Izuku asked, wondering about his adoptive sister's results. I placed 4th in the practical exam, but I still passed, and I'm happy about that, said a disappointing Uraka, but still happy she passed. The room grew quiet until Mr. Uraka broke the silence, stating,
Oh yeah, your first day of class is tomorrow. Make sure you're not late, especially you, Midoriya.
Mr. Uraka said, looking directly at Izuku. Don't worry, I'll be on time, Izuku replied. After that day, it was time for the first day of school, for both Izuku and Uraka. A tired Izuku woke up to the voice of Uraka releasing a bucket of cold water onto his head, quickly jolting him awake. Wake up, Deku, we're gonna be late! I'm already ready to go! Uraka shouted towards a tired Deku. Okay, I'm up. What time is it? Izuku asked, darting his attention towards the clock, revealing the time as the first day of class started in little less than 5 minutes. 5 minutes? I'm late! Izuku said in pure shock, quickly changing into his school uniform using his speed, impressing Uraka. So you figured out how to use your quirk for everyday tasks? Asked Uraka just as Izuku finished washing himself up. Yeah, pretty much, Izuku replied, running out of his room and eating breakfast within a matter of seconds. Hold tight, Uraka, said the green-haired speedster, lifting up Uraka. Wait, Uraka, unable to finish speaking, just as Izuku took off with her speeding past the rush hour traffic, running uphill towards UA High at fast speeds, and made Izuku and Uraka look like a blur to others. Finally arriving at Class 1A, coming to an abrupt stop, causing all the loose items in class to fly everywhere, creating a huge mess, which gathered immediate attention by all of his classmates. Putting Uraka down just as she noticed they arrived with only 4 minutes and 30 seconds to spare. Deku, Uraka finished what she said prior to when Izuku took off. Quickly getting her bearings, she turns around and sees Izuku's shirt start to burn off. Deku, your shirt, said the now blushing Uraka, and Izuku, looking down, noticing his shirt burning away due to the immense friction he created while running. Oh yeah, I forgot about, Izuku said out loud as he turned to his classmates as he started to turn red. Is that the kid who scored first place in the entrance exam? Asked a student with the short blonde hair and a patterned lightning bolt on the left side of his hair, while most of the students started to laugh as they saw a shirtless Izuku at the front door. My shirt! Izuku shouted as the class started to laugh harder and harder, just as the girls saw his muscular chest, his muscular abs on full display, causing most of the girls to blush at the sight of Izuku's new muscular body. That guy looks pretty hot, not gonna lie, Ribbit, frog-like girl said out loud while her nose was bleeding from the sight of the muscular speedster.
Aren't you going to cover that up?
A voice asked Izuku, turned around to see a man in a sleeping bag, causing Uraka to squeal. Deku, what is that? Uraka yelped, pointing at the man in the sleeping bag. As the man got out of his sleeping bag, standing up, while the two entered the classroom, finding their seats, followed by a mysterious man who stood at the front of the class.
Welcome to UA's Hero Course. I'm your teacher, Shoto Aizawa, said Aizawa as he introduced himself to the class.
Yes, our teacher? All the students asked as Aizawa nodded, answering the question.
I know most of you are excited on your first day of class. Without further ado, put these on and head outside.
Aizawa, taking out a UA sports uniform, tossing it to the shirtless Izuku, who quickly put on the shirt to cover himself up. Meeting outside of the school, the Class 1A stands in front of an open field to what seems to be an assessment area.
You'll be taking the Quirk assessment test to determine if you actually belong here or not,
Aizawa announced, causing some confusion within the class. A Quirk assessment test? The entire class uttered in confusion. But orientation day, we're gonna miss it. Uraka added more confusion in the class.
If you're really wanting to be a part of the big leagues, you can't waste time in pointless ceremonies. So if you want to complain, you best leave right now,
Aizawa answered by silencing Uraka and the rest of the class. Throughout your lives, you've been taking this test, but you've never used your quirks to the fullest extent. Aizawa, while holding out a mobile device.
Izuku Midoriya.
You scored the top score during the entrance exam, correct? Aizawa asked, causing the Emerald Speedster to step forward. Yes, sir, Izuku replied, causing the rest of his classmates to whisper amongst themselves. That damn nerd outclassed me, Katsugi said to himself, trying to cause a huge scene.
Tell me, what was your maximum distance with a softball in junior high?
Aizawa asked Izuku. 52 meters to be exact, replied Izuku, answering Aizawa's question.
Try doing it with your quirk. Go all out. Anything goes.
Aizawa instructed as Izuku walked towards the circle, stretching his arm in the process. Begin when ready, Aizawa stated. Izuku thought about what he was going to do for his pitch. Using his right arm, Izuku swung his arm up and down like a propeller, generating energy and electricity at the same time, causing orange electricity to spark off his arm. Letting his arm become one with his quirk, Izuku threw the ball with such high velocity that it broke the sound barrier, which resulted in a sonic boom, sending the rest of the students back with sheer force of his throw, excluding Aizawa, whose face was completely filled with shock.
Mama told me about this kid.
How fast is he? Aizawa asked himself, seeing the softball go farther and farther away.
Just wait for it to drop.
Just wait for it to drop, said Izuku, walking back to his classmates, looking at him in denial.
This was the most rational way to think of your capabilities as a pro hero, said
Aizawa, just as the softball fell on the ground, notifying Aizawa with the results, revealing it to the class, causing each and every one of them to gasp it. 5.2 kilometers? Are you kidding? The short-haired blonde boy asked in denial. This caused the rest of the class to get excited and eager to throw this next softball, to which Aizawa abruptly silenced the class. If you think this is fun, it's no laughing matter. You have 3 years to prove your worth. You must take it with the most serious attitude throughout this physical assessment. You will be tested on 8 different physical tests. Whoever comes in last will be expelled from UA, said the Eraser Hero, shocking and scaring the rest of the class. That's not fair, Uraka objected. We just got here. Even if it's just the first day, it's not fair at all, Uraka pleaded, while Izuku looked at Uraka in agreement.
Oh, you think it's not fair, you say? Are natural disasters fair? Power-hungry villains? Or a recent particle accelerator explosion that destroyed this city 10 months ago?
No. The world is filled with unfairness, and it's our duty to combat it. Understand? Said Aizawa, lecturing the students. Yes, sir, all the students replied.
Now show me what it takes. Plus ultra style. You got it? Aizawa motivating the class. Next up was the 50-meter dash test, as both Izuku and Ida lined up at the starting line. Oh, this'll be fun to watch, Aizawa said out loud, eager to find out the true potential of Izuku Midoriya. May the fastest man win, Izuku said as Tenya looked back at Izuku. I'm going to make sure you eat my dust, Ida responded by getting into a running position. Ready, the speedometer robot shouted as the two speedsters readied themselves. I'm going to show everyone that I'll become the next #1 hero, Izuku said to himself, motivating himself even more. Set! The speedometer was not announced, causing Izuku to close his eyes, letting himself become one with his new quirk. Taking a deep breath as he felt an all-familiar sensation of an electrical surge which was begging to be released. Go! The speedometer shouted, causing Izuku to open his eyes just as orange electricity sparked throughout his eyes. Before Ida's engines could fire up, Izuku was already finished, as all Ida can see is the dust plume that Izuku created. 0.372823 seconds, the speedometer announced, shocking Ida and the rest of Class 1A to the core as he crossed the line in 3.04 seconds. Seems you have a long way to go, Ida, said the smug Izuku, much to his annoyance. No wonder he placed first in the practical part of the exam, said one of the students. Now it was Uraka's turn. She made her clothes weightless, including her feet, finishing her run in 7.15 seconds. I'm most certainly not as fast as Deku, but I'm sure faster than junior high, Uraka said to herself while she gave a thumbs up to Izuku while he was congratulating her. As the rest of the class completed the running portion of the test, it was time for a grip strength test, where Izuku managed to score 52 kilograms, which were average for a kid his size. After that was the standing long jump, where Izuku easily aced it by propelling himself using his speed. Next was repeated side step, where he easily earned the top score. Finally, it was time for the ball throw test, to which Izuku already completed, watching his adoptive sister Uraka throw the ball, earning a score of infinity. Which didn't shock Izuku that much, but was proud of Uraka's results. Not much was the same for the rest of the Konoe, who were shocked by the results. Great job, Uraka! Izuku shouted as Uraka ran towards him, giving him a brother and sister hug. Finally, it was Katsuki's turn to throw the ball. Using his explosions to propel the ball, he only managed to get just over 750 meters. The rest of the physical tests, Izuku aced them all using his speed for sit-ups, toe touch, long distance run. As all the tests were completed, Izuku collapsed in utter exhaustion, having spent all of his energy on the assessment. Alright, it's time for your results. I ranked you all from best to worst. You probably have a good understanding of where you currently are at the moment. I'll display an entire list for everyone to see, said Aizawa, who pressed a button on a remote revealing all the names and rankings of 1A. Izuku took first place, followed by Yaoyorozu Momo in second, and Shoto Todoroki in third, leaving Bakugo in fourth place due to Izuku's performance, which angered the spiky blonde boy, but still respecting Izuku due to all the tragedies he experienced throughout his life. Unlike Izuku, Uraka managed to place 10th, leaving a great-haired boy named Mineta to place last. Unlike the original timeline. Oh, and by the way, no one is going home. That was a lie, just to push you all into giving it your all and going beyond plus ultra, Aizawa announced, much to Mineta's relief. And that concludes today's test. Remember to pick up a syllabus on your way out, and make sure to read it before tomorrow's class, said Aizawa, walking past. Izuku, the eraser hero, locked eyes with the young speedster. Midoriya, before I forget, All Might wants to see you. Meet him in the staff lounge when you can, said Aizawa, notifying the speedster. Oh yeah, I forgot about that, Izuku responded, walking into the main building. Walking into the teacher's lounge, Izuku saw All Might in his skinny form waiting for Izuku. Ah, young Midoriya. Glad you can make it. Here, have a seat, said the symbol of peace, patting his hand on the couch, to which Izuku quickly sat down. I'm very impressed by your results. Mazel showed me your test results a few moments ago. Within the span of 1 month, you're able to get a basic understanding of your new quirk. He also mentioned you're too dependent on your quirk, which is bad. A real hero never depends on his quirk. Explain some piece, giving Izuku the opportunity to speak.
Yeah, I'm kind of impressed on how much my life has changed in the span of 10 months. Earlier, before I got my quirk, Kachen told me I'll never become a hero. What if he's right? What if I'm just some kid who got struck by lightning?
Izuku remembered the torment Bakugo gave all those years ago. I don't think that bolt of lightning struck you, Midoriya. I think it chose you.
All Might says, giving his personal opinion on the ordeal.
I'm just not sure. I'm like you, All Might.
I don't know if I could be the next similar piece.
Izuku replied, feeling insecure about his future. You could be better, All Might reassured the young boy. You can inspire people, in a way I never could. Watching your city like a guardian angel, making a difference, saving people, in a flash. All Might continued as Izuku listened, nodding to his mini speech.
Thanks, All Might. I really needed that pep talk.
Izuku said, standing himself up as he walked towards the exit.
Oh, by the way, young Midoriya, be ready for class tomorrow. You're going to do a battle trial tomorrow to make sure both you and young Uraraka are ready.
All Might said as Izuku turned his head towards him. Of course. Izuku gave us thumbs up just as he sped out of the teacher's lounge, sending papers flying.
I'll never get tired of that,
All Might commented, seeing Izuku run off, only be able to see a green blur as he ran off, running towards the bright future that was in store for Izuku Midoriya. All Might's speech was only a few sentences long, but it made me realize that not only can I become a hero, I didn't realize that right there, he would give me my hero name, The Flash. From that day forward, I dedicated myself to becoming the next #1 hero that everyone wants me to become. Go beyond, plus ultra! Izuku arrived at home, tired and completely exhausted from the quirk assessment his teacher made him do earlier that day. Opening the door, he already saw Araka studying her syllabus that Aizawa instructed everyone to read on the way out. Hey, Araka, sorry, I couldn't walk with you home today. I had to speak with All Might, said the tired speedster, putting his jacket on the hanger. Oh, hey Deku. Your syllabus workbook is in your room. You should probably study for it, replied Araka, just as Izuku sat next to her. I spoke to All Might earlier, and he said that we'll be doing some sort of battle trial tomorrow. I don't know the specifics, but he said that we should be prepared for tomorrow. You want to train? Izuku asked, looking at Araka's work, which was mostly finished. Deku, are you really going to ask that? Look at you, you're completely exhausted. Plus, don't you think you'll pass out again as you did during the entrance exam? Please, Deku, get some rest. We'll get ready tomorrow. Araka pleaded, knowing that her stepbrother wouldn't budge, causing this young speedster to sigh in disappointment. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna get some rest. I'll see you tomorrow, said the burnout Izuku, walking into his room, heading off for the night. Gee, Deku's really pushing himself, especially since he woke up from his coma. It's like he's being an entirely different person. Araka muttered to herself, yawning. It's late. I should get some rest too, Araka said to herself as she put her stuff away, heading to her room for the night. That night, Izuku was having a hard time sleeping, rolling back and forth from one side to another. It was clear the young boy was having another nightmare. Mom, Izuku kept on saying to himself, flashing back to the night he was 4 years old, that he saw his mother's die. Waking up in the back of the ambulance, the 4-year-old Izuku leapt out of the bed, running back into the house. Mom! Young Izuku screamed as the paramedic was trying to stop him. Seeing the police officers investigate the crime, he noticed someone lying there covered in a blue plastic cover. You know these people, Mr. Araka? One of the police officers asked. I'm great friends with the kid's father.
I don't know where he is. Mr. Arthur replied. Noticing the small Izuku run towards the covered body, collapsing on his small knees, he slowly unraveled the blue plastic cover, revealing Inko's dead corpse, shocking Izuku. Mom! Mom! Wake up, please! Young Izuku shouted, begging for his mother to wake up, just as Mr. Araka comforted him. Midoriya, I'm so sorry. Mr. Araka, now holding his now stepson, Izuku, sat there, crying to himself. Jolting awake from his nightmare, breathing heavily. Mom! Izuku screamed while waking up Araka, who slept next to him. Deku, you okay? Araka asked, walking into Izuku's room wearing her pink PJs, which had the Prove Their Hero 13 on her shirt. I can't stop thinking about her. Izuku responded with tears flowing down his eyes, just like that unforgettable night. It's okay, Deku. I'm here. Everything's going to be okay, said the comforting Araka, sitting next to him on his bedside. As he patted Izuku's head, resting himself on Araka's thighs. I'll stay with you for the night, Deku. No one's going to hurt you, said Araka, comforting her stepbrother. The night was uneventful other than Izuku's nightmare and Araka was sleeping that night. He had woken up by the sound of the morning birds and sunrise. Izuku's alarm clock jolted both Araka and Izuku awake. It's time to wake up, said the alarm clock in All Might's words, as it kept repeating until Izuku turned it off. Hey, Araka, it's time to wake up and school starts soon, said Izuku, waking her up. It's morning already? Araka asked, looking at the clock, seeing that class started to 45 minutes. No, we gotta get ready, said Izuku, changing into his school uniform using his speed. Alright, I'll go get changed, Araka says, walking out of his room. Her hair was messy. It was like her hair looked like a cinnamon broom. Using his speed to quickly wash up, Izuku was quickly finished by the time Araka changed into her school uniform. And I'm set to go. Bathroom's all yours, says Izuku, walking out, letting her wash up. The two quickly ate breakfast, to which Izuku once again had a gigantic meal, finishing it in seconds thanks to his new quirk. And done. Ready to go to school, Izuku announced, burping out loud in the disgust of both Mr. and Mrs. Araka. You two be careful out there, alright? Mr. Araka said, entrusting the two of them in one another's safety. Sure thing, Dad, Araka replied as she got up ready to put her shoes on. Izuku asked, lifting Araka up. No, we're not doing that again. Araka objected, knowing what her stepbrother was about to do. Fine, we'll walk, Izuku said in utter defeat, opening the door and heading to the second day of class. The walk was pretty uneventful. The two talked about what to expect today and what their favorite part of attending UA was. The conversation ended in an abrupt halt as Tenya Ida sped past them, leaving a dust plume behind him. Not fast enough, huh, Midoriya? Ida asked, taunting the Emerald Speedster. Both Izuku and Araka looked at each other, to which she immediately noticed something burning within Izuku's emerald eyes. A spark of orange electricity trickled across his eyes in a flash. Deku, no, don't even. Araka unable to stop Izuku as the orange electricity continued to spark. A flash of orange lightning illuminating his emerald eyes, taking off at such speeds it made Araka's hair look like an utter mess as she noted a green blur catching quickly to Ida. That boy never listens, Araka muttered herself, now walking to school on her own, quickly catching up to Ida as he could see Izuku's green hair and orange lightning which trailed off of him while they ran. The two arrived at UA with 15 minutes to spare, with Izuku speeding into his seat, causing all of the classmates' homework to scatter everywhere due to the sheer force Izuku exerted while he ran. Oh, come on! Midoriya worked so hard on that! Kirishima shouted in irritation just as Tenya Ida entered the room. Sorry for the mess we made, Izuku said, apologizing for the mess he created using his speed to clean up the entire class. That should do it, Izuku said, putting all the papers back on the classmate's desk. You're pretty fast, Midoriya. Tell me how you got your quirk again? Tenki asked in curiosity. Yeah, we want to know how you do it, shouted Ashido.
Want to know the origins of Izuku Midoriya's quirk? Simple. I got struck by lightning following a particle accelerator explosion. I'm the fastest man alive. Izuku answered just as Araka arrived panting. Do not leave me behind. Ever again, Deku! Araka shouted playfully, punching Deku lightly. Ow! Alright, Araka. I'm sorry for leaving you behind. Izuku responded by rubbing his arm. Are you two dating? Because it looks like you are. Both of their faces turned red in a flash. It's not like that. We're just brother and sister, that's all. The two of them shouted. Well, two aren't related, they're confused. Ashido asked, causing the two to look at each other. It's a complicated story, asked Izuku just as President Mike entered the class and teaching English literature. It was a boring class for Izuku, since during class he read through the entire textbook about literature thanks to his speed. Much to the annoyance of his classmates. That damn nerd. Always showing off. Bako muttered in annoyance. After President Mike's class was over, it was time to eat some lunch. Finally going off to do his eating skills by eating an entire meal in seconds, much to the disgust of Ida. Don't you ever get full? Ida asked while eating his rice. I need to consume at least 10,000 calories in order to save myself. Izuku replied, smiling in between bites. Finally, it was time for the class Izuku was waiting for. Hero training. Hearing a familiar soundtrack playing in the background, everyone knew it was. The symbol of peace dramatically entered the room, yelling his iconic catchphrase, I am here, coming through the front door. All Might announcing his arrival, causing all the students to shout in awe. All Might is here. Izuku shouted as All Might calmed the class down. With introductions out of the way, let's get into it. Hero Training 101. Today, we'll be doing some combat training. The symbol of peace paused, creating suspense in the classroom. All Might announced, causing the entire class to cheer excitingly, knowing that they'd finally be able to do some combat training. But another thing about being a pro hero is looking good, shouted All Might, pointing at the shelves containing everyone's hero costumes designed by a number. These were specifically designed for your quirk requirements and those forms you submitted before class got started. So get suited up and meet me at ground beta. All Might instructed. Yes, sir! Class 1A replied as Izuku grabbed his costume, opening the briefcase, which revealed Izuku's suit. Instantly noticing new updates made to his costume, the young boy caught a glimpse of the red and gold lightning bolt emblem fitted on his chest with a note on his suit. Picking up the note, he instantly knew who it was from. Hey Midoriya, it's Sensei, Ida's older brother. I watched you during the entrance exam and I was by far impressed by how well you did. I've also come to realize that your clothes burn off at supersonic speeds when you run due to the friction. With that being said, I've decided to give you this suit you can use as your hero costume. Use it well. It's fitted with a GPS tracker and communications link that I've installed in your earpieces. This will also allow you to communicate with UA's facility in case anything goes wrong. I've also installed a sensor system linked to UA, so if there are any drastic changes in your terms of biometric, it will instantly ping your teachers. Good luck, Izuku, and remember to go beyond plus ultra. Tensei Ida. Izuku read aloud before putting on his hero costume. Now, in his hero costume, Izuku headed towards Bound Beta, reuniting with the rest of the class, instantly catching Araka's eyes. Wow, Deku, you look excellent in that hero costume, Araka commented, looking toward his red and gold lightning emblem. Yeah, thanks for that, Araka. You also look amazing, Izuku replied, noticing her skin-tight pink and black costume. This caused Araka's face to turn red. Oh, you don't have to say that, replied Araka, waving her arms in a small purple midget stared at her. Best hero course ever, the small grape-haired boy commented. As you know, most villain attacks on the news are dealt outside, but statistically speaking, they're dealt indoors. That being said, you'll be split into two teams, 2 villains and 2 heroes. The heroes must find the bomb planted within the building, while the villains try to stop them. You will have 15 minutes. If the heroes stop the bomb or capture both villains, the heroes win. If not, the villains win. Any questions? All Might explained, while asking the class for questions, but the entire class bombarded him with questions.
As All Might assigned the class to their respective teams, both Izuku and Araka paired up against Izuku's two biggest rivals, Ida and Bakugo. Both of them were eager to surpass the young speedster. Isn't this ironic? We're a team! Araka shouted, giving Izuku a sisterly hug. Yeah, I'm glad we partnered together, Izuku replied. Alright, both teams are heading inside the building, and head to the monitoring room. If things go too far, I'll step in. A word of advice for young Bakugo: think like a villain. As All Might instructed, as both Izuku's rivals nodded, heading to the top of the building. As the two arrived at the location of the bomb, Ida broke the tension that was growing every second. So, it seems we're going against our biggest rival, Ida says. Causing Bakugo to glare. Deku's mine. You stay here at the bomb, extra. Bakugo ordered, cracking his knuckles. What? Why me? Ida yelled in protest. Because if I go down, you're the only one who has a chance of catching that damn nerd. Bakugo replied, to which Ida reluctantly accepted. Why do you hate him so much? Ida asked, causing Bakugo to turn towards him. I don't hate him, per se. Well, I used to, as a kid. Both of us would play together. Once a quirkless little brat who was annoying to everyone I hated. Until I found out about what happened. Has Deku told you about his childhood? Bakugo asked in a calm, aggressive manner. Well, not exactly. I do know that his mother was murdered when he was only 4 years old. Ida replied, recounting what Izuku told him a few days prior. Well, when Deku was 4 years old, his home got attacked by villains. That night, his mother was killed by one of the villains. Ever since then, he's been living with that pink round-faced. Bakugo replied as Ida felt bad for his friend. I feel really sorry for him, but you still have a rough relationship because the damn nerd has a quirk. He's been a completely different person ever since he got struck by that bolt of lightning caused by that idiotic science experiment that destroyed the whole city 10 months ago. Bakugo shouted, punching the wall. Yeesh, sorry for asking. Ida responded, while Bakugo exited the room, eager to beat the daylights out of his childhood rival. Back on the ground, both Izuku and Araka readied themselves as Izuku stretched his legs. You ready? You ready, Deku? Araka asked as Deku finished stretching. Yeah, you? Izuku asked, putting on his cowl. Always. Let's show them what we're made of, plus ultra style. Araka responded, jumping in the air. Alright, both teams ready? Begin! All Might shouted, causing the two heroes to walk into the building. We need to find where the bomb is, Izuku says, walking through the building and seeming amazed. Yeah, but I don't know where we should... Araka able to finish talking. Izuku lifted her up without warning, taking off at super speed, and in the monitoring room saw Izuku run past the cameras, only be able to see a red blur of orange electricity searching every corner of the room and building, like a lost pet searching for its owner. That Midoriya kid is fast, Kirishiro commented. This might be over quickly, or but Tsuyu commented, as All Might looked at the screen. I knew you'd instantly use your speed, young Midoriya, but remember, you're not alone. You must use your teammates' guidance. Don't run in blind, All Might said to himself, watching the red blur continue to roam throughout the building, coming to an abrupt stop. Izuku put Araka down, wobbling as she tried to catch her balance. Hey, are you okay? A concerned Izuku asked while Araka vomited out one of the windows. You need to warn me whenever you run, Deku? Araka panicked as she tried to regain her composure. Deku, I don't think I can keep going. Araka muttered, collapsing to the floor due to her nausea. Just as the step was about to tend to her, a large explosion suddenly appeared in front of the two, barely having any time to react. Izuku using his speed quirk to pick up Araka and dodging the attack. What was that? Araka asked just as she saw Bakugo lunge towards Izuku, attempting to throw a right hook just as he quickly dodged it. You're mine, Deku! Bakugo shouted as he missed his attack. What the hell is wrong with you, Kachan? You could have seriously injured her! Izuku screamed in anger, his particularly brotherly side on full display.
I don't care about the round-faced prick. All I care about is defeating you once and for all, Bakugo screamed, propelling himself with his explosions. Uraka, run! As Izuku commanded as she nodded, staggering under her feet, trying to run to the best of her ability, leaving the two boys alone.
Izuku was lunging towards his childhood bully, Katsuki Bakugo, with both combatants going at each other at full force, fully determined to prove who is the more dominant hero. As Bakugo goes in for another explosive attack, Izuku quickly moves out of the way with his speed, but is met by a kick to the abdomen. "Don't think you can try that on me again, Deku!" Bakugo yelled as Izuku tried to dodge and weave, desperately trying to avoid his childhood bully's onslaught of attacks. Flashing back to Deku's childhood, several years following the death of his mother, both Izuku and Uraka walk throughout the hallway at the junior high. Izuku was telling Uraka his typical nerdy stuff about quirks and science. "I don't know how you remember all this stuff, Deku," Uraka commented, turning the corner and bumping into Bakugo. "Because he's a damn nerd without a quirk," young Bakugo exclaimed, ready to give his usual torment. Thankfully not as bad compared to the original timeline. "Leave him alone," Uraka said, walking in front of Bakugo, protecting her stepbrother. "Or what, round face? What are you gonna do about it?" young Bakugo asked, pushing her aside, shoving the 11-year-old Izuku to a wall. "Looks like you were born to take a beating, you worthless Deku." 11-year-old Bakugo was just walking off laughing, just as Uraka tended to her stepbrother's aid. Returning back to the present day, Izuku once again dodges Bakugo's barrage of explosions. "Come on, Deku, show me what you really got!" Bakugo screamed, trying to land another hit on the green-haired speedster. I'm done living in your shadow, Kachan. This time I'll prove to you I'm not the worthless Deku you've known all these years!" Izuku's shouted with such pride, orange lightning sparking all throughout Izuku's body, just as Bakugo noticed Izuku's eyes sparked with electricity, making him clench a fist in excitement. "There it is! That's the Deku I want to fight!" Bakugo responded, using his explosions to propel himself forward. But this time, Izuku was ready for it. Using his speed, dodged out of the way while Bakugo was still in the air, propelling himself forward. Using this to Izuku's advantage, he kicked Bakugo's back using the speed that caused him to go through a wall due to the sheer force of Izuku's speed kick. "That's all you got, Kachan?" Izuku taunted, just as Bakugo started to get back up. "Nice counter, but it'll take more than that to knock me down for good," Bakugo commented on launching himself back towards Izuku. While this was happening, Uraka was trying to find the bomb, but was unable to due to her nausea setting in away earlier than thanks to Izuku. "I can't keep going. I'm too dizzy," Uraka said, out loud, sitting down resting. "I'm so sorry, Deku," Uraka said to herself. Back in the monitoring room, with only 10 minutes on the clock, the rest of Class 1A watches Izuku and Bakugo exchanging blows. "That's pretty even if I do say so myself," Mina commented, watching the fight. "But that's not the real mission. Izuku's focusing on beating his childhood rival. That's not how a real hero should act," Momo added on, as the entire class agreed with her. "Come on, young Midoriya. Put your personal feelings aside and focus on the mission," All Might said to himself, watching his apprentice square off against Bakugo. The two combatants were evenly matched until Izuku landed a speed punch directly landing on Bakugo's face, knocking him back a bit. "I never imagined that you'd grown up so much ever since you woke up, Deku," Bakugo commented, rubbing the side of his head. With her rocket down for the count, she won't be able to find the bomb herself. "I have to take matters in my own hands, but how?" Izuku asked himself, noticing the numerous holes in the wall, realizing his next plan. "That's it!" Izuku shouted internally, quickly dodging another explosive attack from Bakugo. "If I can lure him towards me, I can use the holes he made to find me to actually find the bomb," Izuku stated, aligning himself with the straight line of broken walls created by Bakugo moments earlier. "Hey, Kachan!" Izuku calls his childhood rival, who immediately turns towards Izuku, getting his full attention, his red eyes staring directly at the young speedster. "Catch me if you can!" Izuku declared, taking off at super speed, causing Bakugo to go after him. Oh, don't think you can escape from me! An angry Bakugo shouted, using his explosion to propel himself towards the red speedster. What's he doing? Kirishima asked, seeing Izuku run away from Bakugo as the spiky blonde followed him. He's using the broken walls created by Bakugo as a guide to find the bomb. Great move, Midoriya! Zero commented.
Now that is what a hero should do. You let your personal grudges aside and focus on what was right. Saving people. Go get him, young Midoriya.
All Might said to himself, rooting for his apprentice to win. Passing throughout the building, it didn't take long for Izuku to find the room where the bomb was. Just before arriving, he saw Uraraka walking toward the hallway. Seeing the commotion. Uraraka, now! Izuku commanded, turning her attention toward the oncoming Izuku, who sped right past her briefly, noticing a trail of orange electricity behind him. Seeing Bakugo a few feet away. I got him! Uraraka declared, waiting for a Bakugo to pass by. Passed by Uraraka, she quickly touched Bakugo's body, causing him to become weightless. Crap, I didn't see that pink round-faced girl. Bakugo said to himself, crashing into a wall head first from the sheer force he exerted from that propelled himself. Lucky shot. The spiky blonde-haired boy said, as the zero-gravity girl approached him using her capture tape to apprehend Bakugo. Now bring it home, Deku! Uraraka shouted, motivating her stepbrother to win, vomiting once more in the process. Approaching the door that contained the bomb, Izuku quickly entered the room only to be met with a reciprocal burst to his chest, knocking Izuku to the ground, seeing his friend and rival Ida stand before him. Heroes Lesson 101! Always case your surroundings before entering an unknown situation, said the smug turbo hero. Izuku quickly got up, recovering from the unexpected attack. I'll give you points there, Ida, but this ends now, Izuku muttered, dodging another reciprocal burst. Don't think I'll let you go that easily, hero! Shouted Ida, in his best villainous voice, darting towards Izuku. Too bad your engine quirk has limits, unlike mine! Izuku retorted, just as Ida's engine stalled, smoke coming out of the engines. Oh crap, Ida's remarked out loud, tripping and falling onto the ground. Izuku sped to the bomb, touching it, winning overall exercise for the heroes.
The heroes win! Congratulations, young Midoriya and young Uraraka.
All Might declared, over the loudspeaker, congratulating the two. Taking his cowl off, Izuku walked towards his friend and rival Ida, who clearly was disappointed with the result. How am I going to beat you, Midoriya? You're too fast! Ida shouted in anger, punching the ground, noticing Izuku standing on top of him. You did an amazing job protecting the bomb, Ida. Using your super burst just to enter the room caught me off guard. Next time you won't be so lucky, my friend. Izuku commented, lending his hand towards Ida, to which he gladly took, helping himself back on his feet. Well, I do have a long way to go. Nice work on disarming that bomb, Ida replied, just as Uraraka entered the room. You okay, Uraraka? Ida asked, still nauseous Uraraka. Yeah, I'm fine, Ida. Just need to get used to Deku running around with me. Uraraka replied, just as she vomited again. Let's take you to recovery girl, alright? Izuku picking up Uraraka, walking out of the building. Back in the monitoring room, the rest of 1A gathered around in the symbol of peace, just as All Might began to review the recent match.
That was some talent you showed off there, young Midoriya, but I'm afraid you made some reckless mistakes, and despite the results, the MVP of this round is young Ida. All Might announced, shocking everyone in the room, including Izuku, who was holding a knocked out Uraraka. Wait, shouldn't it be the heroes, especially Midoriya? Suyu asked in confusion. There's more to it, young Asui. There's a good reason why I didn't choose young Midoriya. Who can answer this question?
All Might answered, as Momo raised her hand. Sir, I believe I have the answer to that question. Ida was the only one who had his mind set on the task at hand. You see, Bakugo's mindset was clouded due to his personal grudge against Midoriya, along with the fact that Midoriya foolishly used his quirk, which is not smart. To point this out, look at his partner Uraraka. She's clearly out of breath due to Izuku not taking into fact consideration
Her quirk makes her extremely nauseous, and running around only accelerated that to the point where Uraraka was not able to help. What makes it worse is that Midoriya is fully dependent on his quirk, especially when he entered the room of the bomber station. He never surveyed his surroundings, foolishly running and blind, causing Zuku to get hit by Ida. Yes, he's clearly the faster individual, but it will take more than speed to win this exercise. As for Uraraka, although she wasn't able to help out, it was out of sheer dumb luck that she ran into Bakugo while he was chasing after Midoriya. I'll give her points for going past her limits and subduing Bakugo when the time came, but that was all because of the right time and placement.
Yaozu answered, pleasing Ida in the process. Great answer, young Yaozu. You pointed everything out correctly. Great job!
All Might congratulated. A hero must always start with the basics in order to develop a depth of learning on how to become a hero. That is what a true hero is. You can't become a hero without knowing these traits.
Momo commented. Her words pierced through Zuko's heart, realizing his words were hitting him to the core. The rest of 1A continued to do the hero exercise. Meanwhile, Izuku excused himself as he took Uraraka to Recovered Girl's office, so she could get treated.
Hey, Deku,
said Uraraka, grabbing the young speedster's attention.
What is it, Uraraka?
Izuku asked in concern.
Sorry I didn't help out much earlier. I'm not used to running at high velocity speeds. If only I could get used to it,
said the apologetic Uraraka, feeling bad for herself.
No, Uraraka, it was my fault. I let my emotions get better in me. I let myself succumb to what was in front of me. I let myself become too dependent on my quirk, and for that, I should be the one apologizing.
Izuku replied, arriving at the front of Recovered Girl's office. Come in, Recovered Girl said, just as Izuku opened the door, seeing the red speedster holding Uraraka. Oh, it's Midoriya. Has something happened? Recovered Girl asked, walking in, with Uraraka placing her down the hospital bed.
It's Uraraka. She's feeling extremely dizzy from the recent hero exercise,
Izuku explained as he let the Recovery Girl do her thing. Is something wrong with Midoriya? The Recovery Girl asked, noticing some distress on Izuku's face.
No, I'm fine,
Izuku responded, feeling horrible for his actions.
Is she gonna be okay?
Izuku asked, looking at his stepsister being treated by a Recovery Girl. She's just exhausted from nausea. She'll be fine, but she's gonna need some rest. I can't treat her like this. Not everyone has the same gift as you would do, Midoriya. Virgo answered while Izuku looked at his hands, which flickered with orange lightning.
You're right. Just take care of her for me, would you?
Izuku asked as the Recovered Girl nodded, exiting the room, heading back to class. Not Midoriya sure cares about her, the Recovered Girl commented, before getting back to treating the nauseous Uraraka. By the time Izuku arrived back, after taking Uraraka to Recovered Girl's office, the class was pretty much over. As most of the students completed the art exercise, heading back to homeroom, he saw all of his fellow classmates waiting for him. Hey, it's Midoriya! How are you doing? Kirishima asked, as all the students gathered around him. I didn't hear the match, but you were amazing out there. Outwitting Bakugo took some move. Kirishima added on congratulating the speedster, who's still in his hero costume, not bothering to take it off.
Yeah, show me how to dodge like that,
Asho asked happily for Izuku's performance. You got an amazing quirk, Midoriya. Sarah commented on Izuku being bombarded by positive comments by his classmates.
Thanks for the positive feedback,
Izuku responded, still feeling bad for what he did during the exercise. Hearing footsteps walking towards the classroom, Izuku saw Kaminari help Uraraka into the class.
There you go. Hope you get better.
If I want to grab a bite sometime, Denki asked, noticing a jealous Izuku in front of him. Doesn't gulp in fear. Sorry, I didn't know her boyfriend was there, said the nervous Denki, just as Izuku ran towards Uraraka, giving her a hug.
She's not my girlfriend, okay? How many times do I need to say this?
The blush Izuku shouted in annoyance, looking directly at Kaminari's eyes.
Yeesh, sorry for asking. Nick commented, putting his books away. Araka, how are you holding up? Izuku asked, his brotherly concern holding Araka by her shoulders. I'm fine, Deku. Recovered quickly with some anti-nausea pills. I'll be fine. Araka happily responded, noticing her stepbrother is holding her shoulder. You can let go of me now. Araka muttered, causing Izuku's face to turn red more intensely. Oh, right, sorry. Muttered Izuku. Oh, by the way, before I forget, All Might wants to see you, Ida announced, notifying Izuku that the Symbol Peach wishes to speak with him. All Might wants to speak with me? Izuku asked as Ida nodded. Izuku walked out of the class. I'll see you at home, Araka. Catch you later, said Izuku, waving goodbye as he took off with super speed, causing all the books and papers to go flying once again. We really need to get some paperweights down here, said Denki. The whole class agreeing to his comment. Later that day, All Might had noticed Izuku's change of mind ever since Rose called him out for his recklessness. Not even if he knew what to say to him in order to cheer him up. Yeah, he gave a little speech during the Quirk assessment test, but that wasn't enough. While Izuku packed his belongings, he was ready to go home, he received a text from All Might saying someone would like to meet with him on the rooftop at the school. Young Midoriya, please head to the rooftop after school. Someone would like to talk to you. Izuku read aloud, wondering who wanted to speak to him. Arriving at the rooftop, he saw a blond, muscular man, his cape billow in the wind as he watched the sunset from afar. Hey, All Might, you said you wanted to speak to me about something? Izuku asked, causing a serious man to turn towards him. He was a student. Izuku thought to himself that he was in his hero costume. Both Izuku and the mysterious man looked at one another, the wind blowing past him as his hair blew through the winds. Oh, Midoriya. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. All Might told me a lot about you, said the blonde man, extending his arm, which Izuku promptly shook. You know All Might? Izuku asked, shaking his hand. Yes, I do. Actually, I'm a successor, and a 9th user of One for All. My name is Mirio Tagata. You should have my hero name, Lemillion, if you like, Mirio says, introducing himself. I've been told you have a lot of potential, too. Weren't you hit by a bus 10 months ago? Asked Mirio, which confused Izuku. Why is it that everyone thinks I got hit by a bus? Izuku thought to himself. Struck by lightning, Izuku corrected, to which Mirio promptly apologized, letting Izuku explain his quirk and the events that happened prior to him entering UA towards the successor of the Symbol of Peace. Well, that's my story. I spent my whole life trying to be the impossible, never imagining I would actually become impossible, Izuku says, explaining his past to Mirio. So, why did you ask me up here exactly? Something tells me that All Might didn't want me to meet the 9th user One for All. Asked Izuku as Mirio looked at the confused boy. All my life I wanted to do more, be more, and I am. It's the first time I get to help someone I screw up, Izuku says, recalling his first class with All Might. If you really want to pursue becoming a hero Midoriya, you're gonna make mistakes. I make mistakes. But the good you do will far outweigh the bad. Mirio responded, understanding what the boy was saying. You tried. But you are easily relatable. Mirio thought, but right now, he had sharp Izuku. What if Rose was right? What if I'm not a hero? What if I'm just some kid who was struck by lightning? Asked Izuku, his distress radiating from him even more now. I don't think that bolt of lightning struck you, Midoriya. I think it chose you, replied Mirio. The two staring down at each other, saying the exact words All Might gave him in the first day of class. I'm not sure I'm like you, Mirio. I don't know if I can become the next number one hero, Izuku said, his insecurity now on full display as he doubted himself. "You can be better than that," replied Mirio, making Izuku look towards him once again. "Because you can inspire people, in a way I never could. Watching over your city like a guardian angel, making a difference, saving people, in a flash." Mirio continued, giving the exact same speech All Might gave him a day prior. Turning his back to the young boy hero, Mirio looked into the distance as he watched the students from Class 1A walk home. "Here's my advice, Midoriya. Wear a mask," suggested Mirio, just before he jumped away, using his quirk to propel him. This made Izuku look in awe as he saw All Might's successor fly away in the distance. "Cool," commented Izuku as he jumped off the rooftop, taking off into the distance. Mirio then noticed how fast Izuku was, seeing the orange bolt of electricity pass within seconds. He instantly knew this kid had potential in him. He couldn't help but smile at Izuku's quirk and continue to watch the boy run into the sunset. "Cool," commented Mirio as he headed into his next destination. Unknown to the two of them, a group of villains is plotting their next attack in the way. "Is it ready?" A man covered in hands asked the purple humanoid figure with glowing eyes. "Yes, it is." The purple figure answered the villain, covered in hands. "Good. Tomorrow will be the end of a symbol of peace. Tomorrow the League of Villains will bring fear and doubts into hero society." The mysterious villain shouted, laughing as a huge, gigantic villain broke out of its containment, roaring loudly, eager to bring nothing but destruction.